Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. This is Message. Hi, Dan. All right.
Welcome to Tea Time with
Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. This is super recent. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. I missed you guys. I really did. Hey, everybody. Listen, I can't hear anything. Welcome to Tea Time with Bunky. Wait, let me try this right here. Let me see what's going on. How is it that I can't hear anything? And speaker. This is crazy. I don't know. If anybody is out there, let me know if you can hear me or not. This is a Tea Time with Bunky. We're just talking about, as I try to get this together, we are just talking about okay, the mic is on. What is going on here? Honest to God, if y'all can hear me, those two that are out there, if you can hear me, let me know if you can hear me or not, because I can't hear anything. But anyway, we're talking about the day after the elections. I want to know how you were feeling. How are you feeling now? Can you hear me? Hey, I hear. Good. I can't. Well, I don't need to hear anything. But thank you, Jamie. Okay, maybe I'm just used to having other people on with me now. I become spoiled. Okay, so talking about how did you feel when you woke up? If you didn't stay up and watch that, how did you feel? Thank you, Vanessa. How did you feel when you heard the outcome of the elections? How are you feeling now? And what where do we go from here? What now? First, let me say, by when I went to bed, I was still hopeful because it was early. You know how like Christmas, you go to bed early as a kid. Hey, Chris, when you go to bed early on Christmas Eve, thinking, okay, I'm gonna wake up and the next day is gonna be a great day. So when I went to bed, it was still early. They were just starting to count the votes and do all that stuff. But there was a part of me that thought that this could actually happen, that he could actually win. But I didn't want to believe that. I wanted to have faith in my country. I'm like, nah, they're not gonna do us like that. That's what I'm thinking. They're not gonna do us like that. But I wake up. Hey, Ma. But I wake up and I don't know. It was like I was hit by a Mack truck. That's how I felt. My anxiety went through the roof. I was like, Bunk, you can't cry because you got to get up for work. So you don't have time for all that, girl. You got to get yourself together. But a sense of gloom, disappointment was what I was feeling and kind of am feeling now. What now? The third question, I don't know. Nitisha, I'm still crying. Girl, don't make me cry. I don't know what to expect. And this is what bugged me out even more. Because all along we're hearing people saying that they're going to vote for Kamala. Kamala, da 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 da. Yeah, so sad. Da 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 da. But the win was overwhelming. I mean, this dude, when you broke it down, because I had to break it down and look at what was going on and what happened, he got 295 of the electoral college, and she got, and you need there's 538 electors, and she had 226. I'm still trying to figure out all of that. I knew Trump was going to win. I kept hearing different pastors talk about how he is the one God chose. Isn't that something, Vanessa? And you know what? It's good that you say that, because on Tuesday's political tea time with Bunky, I normally don't talk about religion because it's so controversial. I don't like to talk about religion. I just don't. But we have Bishop Williams, John Williams, coming on, and we're going to talk about politics and religion, because it seems as if now it's so intertwined with one another. And at one point, I remember growing up, it was separation of church and state, which is totally out the door. Me and Shaw talked about that, how Trump was continually mentioning the Catholic Church, and like disregarding the other churches. And I just need to know, like, what role did that play? I want y'all to tell me, like, how you're feeling. Um, the everything shifted. The Senate, I think we just got another seat, but I think the Republicans have both houses right now. So he's a triple threat. He's the president, the House, the Senate. We know he's probably going to put in at least maybe 3 more Supreme Court justices. He picked his chief of staff tonight, Susie Wiles. We're going to be announcing that. I tried to look her up. I couldn't, because they just announced it like right before the show came on. So I couldn't really get into all of that. But the voter demographics, the way it broke down, like I said, like I'm sure a lot of you might have thought, but we kind of knew in the back of our mind what was going to go on. A lot of voters that said they were going to vote for her or whatever, what it showed me were they were afraid to openly say that they were going to vote for him, which is kind of crazy, because if you're voting for someone, or if you're doing anything, you should stand on that. It's my personal opinion on it. If you've grown enough to do it, you should be grown enough to stand behind it. But the way it broke down for all men, 42% Democrat, 55% Republican. Women, 53% Democrat, 45% Republican. Now, here's we go. We're going a little different. Wait a minute. My sisters put me on punishment for saying I would have voted for, voted for Trump. Shout out to your sisters. 2 things I don't speak about. Right, Chris. Religion and politics, they will destroy a family and friendships. Yeah, I had to remove a couple of people. I just had to remove a couple of people because they were doing too much. But this is how it broke up with races. What people were talking about. With white men, 37% voted Democrat. Well, voted for Kamala. 60% voted Republican. 60%. What is that saying to you? Women, white women, 45% voted Democrat. 53% voted Republican. And I just saw this thing now that's going around called the blue bracelet, which is women not of color wanting a blue bracelet. They're trying to figure out if it's a special blue bracelet or what, to wear just to show that they didn't vote red. So that's a thing. With the black men, shout out to you. You guys didn't do as bad as I thought you was going to. 77% voted Democrat, 21% voted Republican, which is too much. It's too many, y'all. It was just too many. Women, black women, 91% of us, we held it down. 7% Republican. And I saw one today that kind of is going to be infiltrated. Yeah. I would prefer to be punished by them than God. Yes. Because you know what? We know that at the end of the day, God is in full control of this whole catastrophe. He has a plan. We don't know the plan. We don't know what the plan is. But it says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And I wonder when the morning is going to come. When is the morning coming? Um, and another demographic, the Latinos, 42% voted Democrat, 55% Republican, and the women, 60% voted Democrat, 38% voted Republican. And, there's just so many things to this election. There's so many parts to this, so many things that it is going to hit that's is going to affect us. I mean, Project 2025 is starting on day one. On day one, you guys, it was a Latinos race that let her down. That, considering that he's talking about mass deportation on day one, it is surprising. And you wonder why. Like, I had this conversation. I recently had this conversation, and it was like, it was said, and I don't know. Somebody let me know if it's wrong, that when they come in this country, or they keep their heads down and they don't say anything, they just, as long as it doesn't affect them, just keep your heads down, go with the flow, go with the punch. And I think a lot of Black people were like that too at one point. At one point, we were like that. Don't say anything as long as it's not interfering in my backyard. I don't have anything to say. I'm just worrying about myself, my family. But at the end of the day, this race affects everybody. I mean, I saw in the news today, and I didn't even think about them because I was thinking about myself and all the women around me, and the war between Russia and Ukraine. What is that going to look like? What? I heard it was because of the no tax on overtime, but they didn't realize he's looking for a way to get rid of over. He's trying to get rid of overtime. But listen, I saw Elon Musk on the news, and as we know, Trump is looking at him for what is he looking for him for? He's looking for him for helping the budget or whatever, the budget, and Kennedy with healthcare. And Musk is supposed to be, if he gets the position, cutting taxes or inflation. You're talking to a billionaire. He's a billionaire that has no clue. Like, he doesn't know what it's like to wake up in the morning and don't know where they're going to get their next meal from. He has no idea what that's like. I mean, come on, he's flying people out of space. Come on, that's what you're doing with your money. People are starving and hungry, but that's what you're doing. Kamala Harris was lost because people are not educated and only care about eggs and gas. We lost because people only want to hear about the economy and nobody spoke about Russia and China. They didn't, because they don't care. Latino population is bigger than the Black population. Democrats are fighting from them, and they are voting for him. Yeah, Democrats are fighting for them, right? And they're running to him. Russia, Ukraine, China. Putin congratulated him. He congratulated him. He congratulated him. I mean, come on, you guys, tell me how you feeling. How I don't know how I'm feeling. I was on a sister Zoom call with my sisters because we had to check in with each other, and yeah, it was, when you hear about little girls that are crying, they don't really know the gravity of it, but they can sense that something is not right. Something is not right. And the fact that some of these little girls, my granddaughter, my nieces, cousins, my friends' kids, they're not even going to understand really what went down, because as they're growing up, this is what they're growing up into. He plans on helping Russia and Ukraine. Facts. No, plans on helping Russia in Ukraine. Oh, right. We see the brotherhood with them. I'm devastated and scared. But what do we do with do we keep trying to promote democracy? Um, do we talk about the way we felt? Who do you talk to? I mean, like, I'm really giving a lot of people the side eye now because a lot of people now are that kind of shocked me. Some people shocked me. You see their page, and all of a sudden, there's all of this. I missed that alarm. All of this Trump stuff all over their page, and they wasn't saying it before. If that makes any sense. Look, let me take a quick break. I'll be right back in 1 second. Okay, and we're back because I missed that. I don't know how I did that, and I got to take another break shortly. But my thing is, if you're proud enough to be a supporter, the ignorance and racism of America was put on full display. Rashida, when I say, I don't know why I put so much faith in people, but when I say the disappointment and the hurt, I felt like it was a direct slap in the face to see the way this man won. I mean, he won the popular vote. Now we knew the electoral college was kind of iffy because during one of his speeches, he made a comment about one of his friends. He's like, "Yeah, well, we got a plan. We got a secret." Basically, he said it. I mean, just like he says everything he's going to do. I mean, this man said what he was going to do in his plans, but for some reason people just don't seem to believe it. I saw on a supporters page today, black woman is already asking for the stimulus checks. What? Okay, I got it's a it is. But you see, Rashida, all people are thinking about is their money. Very telling, very telling. All they think about is money, and they think this man is going to deliver it. I don't know. Thinking about all this has given me a headache. Just money. Yes, just money. Just money, Jamie. Um, it's giving me a headache. How is it affecting you guys physically? Physically. Think about that. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Welcome back. Physically, is it affecting you? I know. Hey, Shad, I know that physically it's taking a toll on me. Sacrifice our kids and freedom for 600. I thought it was 1,200, not $600. Not $600. But yeah, and people who came here, a rude awakening is on the horizons. And you know what, Sheeta? I'm scared. I'm not even going to lie. I am here emotionally sick. I mean, like, I can feel my inside shaking. I can. Um, I am so scared for what's going to happen on January 6th. Now, I heard something today which makes sense. Something to think about. It said technically Kamala could still be the 47th president if Joe Biden stepped down and let her take over because she is the vice president. Personally, I think now watching everything unfold, he said that he was only going to be a one-term president. That's what he said. He was just going to be like a catalyst for the next group to come in. I think that he felt the power and he felt that Trump was running. Black people, specifically black women, are triggered and traumatized. Yes, and it's a real response. It's a real response. People think people that aren't us, when I say black women, people who aren't us don't understand it. Where things were saying, people were saying, "Oh, well, you're being extra. You're taking it too far. You're over emotional." No, it's a real thing. It's hard to it's hard to describe. It's like a feeling like no other. Black men have their response. Black women have our response, but our response is different because the men did the work, but the women carried the nation. We nurtured the nation from the beginning. From the beginning, since slavery, we nurtured this country, and to see this, and we're going back. Well, we say we're not going back, but he wants us to go back. And people started talking about the handmade handmade tales, saying that that's basically what's going to happen. So I'd never seen it before, but I just started watching the Handsmaid Tale. Y'all know what I'm saying. Whatever, it's on Hulu. Go watch it. And they say that's exactly what's about to happen. And to see some of the people that were my friends. Can you elaborate on how he is a threat to democracy? Well, our rights, we were just given, I say just 50 years ago, the right to choose what happens to our bodies. The right to vote. I was talking to somebody else, especially, well, women, and then Black women. Women, it's only been, I I think in my mother's time. I think, yeah, my mom was here when women really didn't have the right to vote. My mom ain't that old, y'all, so I'm just putting that out there. Um, so our rights and the right to choose, but people they chose what they want America to look like. People might either live in a fixed income. Better start praying he don't. No, he is gonna mess with y'all. He wants to mess with Social Security. And yeah, that's your only source of income. That's, I don't know what he's gonna do. He's not gonna increase it. Elon Musk is not gonna increase it. The right to equal pay for women. There's a difference from white women and Black women when it comes down to pay. Oh, absolutely. With everything, not even just pay. There's there's a true inequality. No one who respects democracy is saying they're going to be a dictator. Facts. That's what he said on day one. Day one, he wants to be a dictator. Um, what is this man's deal? I don't know. Now I saw his wife. Um, I haven't been watching the news. I'm not gonna watch the news. I can't watch the news. I don't think I'm gonna watch the news for the next 4 years. Um, Appeared. So it's like, now what's going on with her? And then I'm hearing that they're saying that his son Baron is a secret weapon. Like, what does that mean? What are all these little dog whistles and different things that they're saying? We saw what all of his rallies look like, y'all. We saw all the people in the rallies. We heard all the noise going on in the rallies. You can't make this stuff up. He's a threat to democracy because he's a fascist that believes in tyrannical and authoritarian rule. That is the complete opposite of democracy. Thank you, Rashida. See, Rashida, we know it. Thank you, Rashida. She be on her stuff. Anybody who wants to run everything and there be no input, yeah, they're not for democracy. I saw something on. I was watching a little bit of news today, even though I said I wasn't going to watch it. They're talking about. I think it was a treasure. I think it was a treasure was on, and they were talking about lowering how inflation was slowly going down, and the rates of like credit cards and things were slowly going down. But y'all don't get it twisted. Those that are out there is not because of Trump. This was slowly happening before. And Trump feels as if he should be a part of that. What's going on? And then they asked the guy who's in position now if Trump told him to leave, would he leave? And he straight said no. He was like, no, he's not leaving. So we got to see how that looks, because he plans on doing a whole overhaul of the House, of the cabinet. I don't know. The fact that New York and New Jersey weren't so quickly called was disturbing, because we automatically think blue for for those states, but I saw a change in temperature here where I live. I saw a change in the temperature. Um, and then people wonder why our anxiety is so high. Um, Seeing lots, social media is a mess. And really, I'm going to really try my hardest to try to remove myself as much as I can, which and continue to be relevant because the things that I see, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of it. Um, it's hateful. It's divisive. Shot on two spots. It's divisive. Um, I'm gonna switch to YouTube to watch as I get ready for our show. Oh, listen, you guys, if you want the hardcore, this Bunky is the softcore. If you want the hardcore, you need to go over to Peaches and Blade tonight on Facebook and YouTube. Their conversations are those two ladies are something else. So I hats off to you. So they're on tonight at 8 o'clock. Peaches and Blade. They get into it. Like they have the numbers, they have everything that you want. See, I'm just a conversation. I'm a conversation. They're gonna give it to you with the facts and all the hardcore stuff. But I hope that everybody is feeling a little better by Monday because at the end of the day, we can't sit here and dwell and be sad and let it totally consume us. I'll be right back in 1 minute. And I'm back. We can't let it consume us because that's what it wants. We can't roll over. We have to still get out there and fight. We have to still know who's running for office. Maybe we can flip it. I don't know. Do you guys think that Biden stayed in it too long to make a difference to hurt? And it hurt Kamala because it did not allow her to really get out there and let people know who she was and who she is. Like that could be it because people just kept saying, you did just thank you for the shout out. I got you, Sheeta. I got you. Because people kept saying up until the end, they don't know who she is. I mean, really, they gotta do is Google her and look her up. I mean, she's not new to the scene. She's have more experience than the dudes in place or getting ready to be in place. I mean, like we haven't even talked about Vance. He flipped. He flipped real quick when Trump called him to be his running mate. Y'all see they had him on a back burner because he started doing too much. I think that the people, as far as the Democratic Party, way before Kamala was already fed up with inflation. Absolutely. Inflation. No. Inflation it's a big thing. It's real. Anything that affects our pockets and the way we live, yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's a problem, and people are going to see that because this is our money, and people are barely living from paycheck to paycheck. Dems need that out of touch with the base. I think maybe they should just I think we should just live solo for 4 years. Figure it out for 4 years. Let both parties revamp and regroup because, as we know, MAGA is not Republican. Republican is not MAGA. It's a difference. I've learned that throughout this. It's a difference because there are Republicans who didn't want this thing to happen because they saw that it was good for the country. So I'm so glad Shad had asked me that question a couple of episodes back. Was there a difference between Republican and MAGA? Because it made me think. But MAGA Trump is a different type. He's a different type of entitlement of he is he's in a world of his own. Like the things this dude get away with, like we haven't even talked about how there's no chance really now for him to even go to jail and answer for any of the crimes that he's done. Nothing. And you have some felons who can't get a job, they can't vote, they can't do anything because they have that felony on their record. They can't even get an apartment in some places because they have a felony on their record. But this man just won President of the United States. What does that say about us? What does that say about us? Says that it depends on who you are. It depends on, it totally depends on who you are, because we know for a whole fact, Michelle, I wouldn't even want to do that to her. Vanessa, I wouldn't even want to put that on her back, because you know what? The ugliness and the racist people out there, Michelle don't need that. She don't need that energy. As Shad would say, he's the biggest gangster. So America just put the biggest gangster in office. Yeah, they really did. And they should be happy for themselves because they made this decision. And back to Michelle. Yeah, she watched what her husband went through. She watched what Kamala went through. And it was such a double standard, because the names they would call her and the things that they would say about her was okay. They didn't, the Democrats, which I think now they may regret, is they didn't come back for him. When they came for her, when those people came for her and said all the horrible things they said about her, no one really came at him like that. She had to be flawless while he could be lawless, racist, homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic, etc. Yes. And the way he talked about people with disabilities, family, and all. Yeah, she had to be perfect. Now, that's not fair. And the fact that blacks and Hispanic held him down in the Hispanic population, and he gonna deport your whole family. He doesn't even consider Puerto Rico as part of America. And this is the dude y'all voted for. I saw, look, just a short period of time where I watched the news today. He went to the Bronx, Castle Hill. He went to Castle Hill, and they said that they wouldn't have expected somebody like him to come there and talk to them. So Trump went to that. He's gangster. He went to Castle Hill and he talked to the people. He went to the barbershop. Trump went to the barbershop in Castle Hill in the Bronx and talked to those people. And that made them feel heard. That's a really good campaign move, because he had the Bronx. The Bronx was, they were red. The Bronx was red. They were red. Um, but I just don't know how you can vote with someone who talks about your ancestors like he does. And he shows you who he is. I mean, he mocked his own supporters. There's no respect. There's no integrity. And I'm sure he was calling them names when he left. No, he was calling them names probably while he was right there, under his breath. Under his breath. Because we know who he is. We know who he is. People fell for a con and we're going to suffer. He's a true New Yorker. No disrespect to us New Yorkers, but he's a New York City hardcore gangster New Yorker. He knows the game. He played it perfectly. And I guess when you know the game, the outcome is you're going to win. And he won. He did. People fell for a con. Yeah. He knew the game. He knew the game very well. And I, now looking at it, I think that if Kamala, maybe, I don't know, it was God's will. Hopefully God can humble him. Vanessa, I don't know. I don't think, I mean, because he compared himself to Jesus. Anybody who thinks they touched by the Lord like that, say that on one side of their neck, and then on the other side, say all the hateful stuff and do the things that he's done at rallies. I don't think the man there's been 2 attempts on his life. Nothing humble him. He considers himself Superman. So I don't think there's no humility in this man. These people got him thinking that he can say and do anything, and now he really can say and do anything. He can say what he wants. He could do what he wants. And he just let Him being who he is lets others see that they can say and do what they want if they look like him. Because if you look like me, now you're not saying and doing whatever you want. It's such a double standard. It's such a double standard. And nobody wants to call it out. And then I'm still hearing people say, oh, well, he's not a racist. So somebody explain to me what he is. He's not a sexist. Somebody explain to me then what he is. The way he talks about women. And he got daughters, but he has no respect for them. And speaking of daughters, I wonder if Ivanka is going to show up now. Are they going back into the White House? I wonder what that's going to look like. Is Melania going to make the outside of the White House look like a hotel again? Is she going to the White House with her husband? I don't know. I don't know. But I need somebody to explain somebody needs to explain the electoral college to me, because I was trying to figure it out. I still don't get it. I don't get it. They pick people who's going to vote. It's really confusing, the electoral college. I don't get it. I think I need it broken down, like how they used to have the after school specials when I was little, and they would have, the bill, all of that. For those that are my age, you remember the bill, things that used to come on Saturday, and they would tell us how democracy and how the government worked. There was like a whole little song. So I need somebody to break it down to me like that, because that makes no sense to me. The popular vote, I get it, because as we saw these last 2 years, in the last 4 months since Kamala was running against him, we saw how popular this man was. Schoolhouse Rock. That's it. Schoolhouse. I love Schoolhouse Rock. Somebody need to I'm gonna go YouTube it. I'm sure there's a YouTube video on the electoral college, because I need somebody to break that down for me. Rashida, if y'all maybe could break that down on your show. Oh, see, there we go. We'll be talking about electoral votes. Yeah, because I need to understand, because I don't know how that works, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. So why are we voting? Like, why, if they're gonna do what they want to do anyway? That's basically it. They're gonna do what they want to do anyway. There was a plan. I'll be there. There was a plan put in place, and they just followed their plan and executed it very well. And the Democrats did. I feel hopeless. What's the point of continuing to fight? It didn't do any good against this evil. And you know what's sad? Well, what it is, for those of us that, faith-based, this is where our faith has to kick in. You have to have faith. You have to trust that God has a plan. We just don't know the plan. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, he's greater than anything we can ever imagine. And it's not that devil is so good. And when I say that devil, y'all know who I'm talking about. We just have to see. But for all of my friends on here that voted for Trump, please don't tell me. Please don't tell me. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to look at you sideways. To the men who have daughters and sisters and friends just pray that they don't get put in a situation where they need help, especially in those states that outlawed everything. Just pray that they don't need help, because your dude and his people going to wipe out any help for them. Let's just pray to God they're not a statistic. For anybody who isn't here legally, and you voted for him, well, if you don't have your papers, you can't vote. But if you have family members that voted for him. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting also. Uh, and I'm just wondering, like, do we all got to walk around with our documents if you don't look like him? Because that's what it sounds like to me. I mean, because they've been telling us from since his first election to go back to Africa, which is the dumbest thing because their ancestors ain't from here either, but they telling us to go back. So I wonder, do we have to walk around with our ID on us? Hmm, that's a thought. That's a thought. So for all you men of color that voted for him, and you don't like to carry your wallet or your ID, um, I just advise you to pull your pants up and make sure you got ID on you because remember he said in Project 2025 that he basically was going to give police free range to do whatever they want, and y'all co-signed it because y'all got $600 stimulus check. Um, that blows my mind. Because it blows my mind because I personally don't have a price. I won't sell my soul. I won't. I can't be I can't co-sign that behavior. And like if I'm talking to someone who is, a proud supporter, we can have a conversation. But once you start doing too much, me being me, I just don't want to talk to you. I just really, really don't. And that's what I mean by sell my soul. Yeah, there's no amount of money that can make me ever support this clown. There's no amount of money. So I pray to God that I'm never in a situation where I have to choose. I just the way America is a laughing stock. It's we are the joke of the world. Y'all realize that, right? That we are the joke of the world. We put a reality star in the White House twice. First time I get it, you didn't know. You didn't know. Okay, trial and error, you learn. But the second time you knew what you was getting. And we know that the second term is when they get to do whatever they want to do because they don't really care because they're not going back in. But he said that probably he's going to try to change it where there are no terms. There's no, like, you don't have to. He said you never have to vote again. This is what he said. This is what he said, and people voted for him. He told people, vote for him, and they'll never have to do it again. What does that say? What does that say? It's a scary time in America, you guys. It's just a scary time right now. We got 4 years. I'm gonna try my hardest, but I'm gonna have to watch the news because I need to know what's going on. But I really don't want to talk about him after January 6th. I don't know. Democrats talking about peaceful transfer of power. There's nothing he's gonna do just like he did before because that's just who he is. So yeah, if a cat show you that they're a cat, they're a cat. Don't expect it to be a chicken. That may not make sense to you, but just know a cat is a cat, a chicken is a chicken. There is no, it is what it is, basically. It is what it is. They show you who they are. Believe them. So, on that note, I am going to end this conversation. Thank you guys for participating and pray for this, pray for this nation, um, for safety, for that none of the stuff that he says he's going to do he does, but we know he told us, and he's going to do everything in his power to make that happen. um and for those that voted for him, and when he start coming for you, don't say nothing. You can't say nothing. You can't say a word. You can't say a word because you did it to yourself. I don't want to hear it. I don't really care. You made your bed, now lay in it. So You all make sure you tune into Political Tuesday with Bunky and Shad. This Tuesday coming up, like I said, I have Bishop John Williams from um, from Middletown, New York, and we are going Faith Alive Ministries. He's Faith Alive Ministries, and we're going to be talking about religion and politics. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to have my Tylenol on hand. So you all have a great weekend. I appreciate you. Try to find a way to exhale and bring it down and bring your nerves down or whatever. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. So I will talk to you all later. Bye bye now.